What is up, everyone?
Welcome to the Strategy Vault. I'm Felix.
I'm Gio.
In every episode, we break down the strategies for major wins, bold ideas, and lasting growth.
It's Winners Wednesday, and we're all about leveling up. So let's dive into the success stories and mindsets that drive extraordinary achievements.
Buckle up.
Grab your coffee. I got my coffee right here. And
Yeah,
let's crack open the vault. How's it going, my friend? How's your day, Phil?
Very good, very good. A lot of work, lots of things going on. Always happy to be here with you, George. Always a pleasure.
Likewise. What's up, guys in the chat? Nice to see you guys. Thanks for joining in. You guys don't mind hitting that subscribe button. I don't know if you're on YouTube or if you guys could go ahead to YouTube and hit the subscribe button. It would be actually very supportive.
Very appreciated. Expand, never contract today. We're talking about expanding and never contracting. This is from the book, chapter 14 of the book, the 10x rule. I love this. I love this small, very fast and easy 15 minutes read, bro. Like that, 3 pages. This guy has it. A chapter, 3-page chapter. That was quick.
I loved it. I was waiting for that.
But you know what?
You love the chapter. I agree. I love short and sweet chapters.
It made me feel like this guy didn't have much to say about it. He was like, "Yo, you need to expand and never contract," and it's actually true. And when we read this, the first time I read this was during the pandemic, and I was amazed. I was like, "Wow, this is genius! This is so brilliant."
It's brilliant, but it's so simple. If you really look at it, it's like get down to it. It's really simple, yet it's easier said than done, right? Like, let's put it that way.
He's basically telling you to buy the dip, but with your energy. So buying the dip means what? Buying the dip, if you're doing some financial investments and you're trying to buy stocks or whatever, everybody knows about buying the dip. Buying the dip means you're buying when it drops to the lowest point. And all your friends will call you, it's time to buy Bitcoin, whatever. You'll buy the dip. This guy is actually telling you to expand when everything is dipping, when your competitors are contracting, when everybody's telling you to save money. This guy is actually telling you to spend more energy, more marketing, do more calls, sales calls. Do more of what you could pull out of your body, like what you could. If you don't have the money, you need money to buy the dip, but you don't need money to do this. To do this, you only need to do something that's very counterintuitive. When everybody's contracting, you feel like contracting too. You're like, everybody's contracting, I'm not losing, right? During the pandemic, it was a very good example of like, everybody's contracting, I could just stay home and take a break, right?
It's the equivalent. It's the equivalent of like everybody's selling it's like you said, buy the dip. Everybody's selling, and you got to do the opposite of what everybody's doing. Everybody's selling, so the stock goes down. What do? You buy more. Even so, it's like a psychological play.
Yeah.
Shit's not going well in the economy. But you know that with a level head, that shit it will turn back around. Everybody else is panicking, selling, but if you just keep a level head and know that like the economy is gonna switch back in due time.
It was revolving around that. During the pandemic, it was all about how much time are we gonna stay like that. So the bigger picture thought was all about, for how long? 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Nobody knew at the beginning, but towards the middle of it, after a year, we started to have some sense of okay, this this is going to last, but it's not going to last forever. They're gonna like eventually we're all going to develop like some kind of, you know what they were saying. So if you were able to see the bigger picture, you were not depressing. Okay, it's been like most people stopped fighting for it. People started being depressed after a year and a half. I don't know if you remember during the pandemic. We forget so easily, human beings. It's like
people were fighting over toilet paper and shit. Like
it was crazy.
The world works on like if you understand just a bit of how psychology works, and you could really like you could really become successful just by understanding psychology of people, knowing and seeing the pattern of how people are acting. Like you brought up the pandemic. Like remember when all the people were jumping and buying toilet paper and shit? You were probably just sitting at home like, dude, I'll just take a shower if I have to wipe my ass. Like it's okay if they're out of stock of paper.
And they never went out of stock. That's what
people in general as a whole, as like a society in general, I find are very irrational. I don't know if that's just me.
I just feel like people will function when it comes to money with the masses.
Yes, exactly. They function with the masses. When it comes to money and finances and stuff like this, it's often best to go against what people are doing. So if people are panic selling, I could stay in the back with a level head. You could be in the back. We're experienced. We understand how markets have cycles, right? We're just there like, hey, I'm getting it at a discount. The other day, crypto went down like crazy. And there's people all over social media panicking, selling. Me, I'm just there like, let's buy more. You know, I didn't end up buying more, but that was my thought. I was like, should we buy more? But I didn't panic sell. So like historically, if you look at the mass things, it's never good to go against. It's never good to go with how people are reacting. You know what I'm trying to say?
No, I understand, and he says that in the book. And I remember reading that during the pandemic, and it made me think. I was like, everybody's panic.
It's like you feel like
selling, panic. Like
it's a guys that people like us that have a bit more experience. We could see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, we see the long-term picture. We don't make a good crisis go to waste, or should we say?
Yeah, a good crisis go to waste. I feel like it's just my vision changed at some point. I was like, most people, because I see it all the time. And he says that also. Most people only go in attack mode until they face some resistance.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I mean? Like as soon as there's a little resistance and they face like rebuttals,
get like a reality check, like
the client,
like, oh, it's not as easy as I thought it was.
So now you're just gonna be like, oh no, this ain't my client, or no, I'm not gonna make these calls anymore. Oh no, cold calls are worthless. Yeah. I've heard that all the time. People face resistance and they're like, cold call is good for trash. I'm like, I've worked in cold call sweatshops, my friend. You don't understand. You don't understand how cold. If people know and understand how persistence like work for them, and you think it's worthless, you're out of the game, because some people are just making a living out of it, out of stuff that you think is worthless and trash. I see it all the time. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's all a matter of perception. Like what you think works and what not. Like it's
all about managing your expectations, though. Like I feel like I've said this a couple times in the past, but it's true though, because if you go in with the thought like how most people jump into business thinking it's going to be easy, and then they face a little bit of resistance, and then they say, "Oh, it's hard," and then they give up. But if you go in there with the mentality that it is hard, it's not easy, you will face some resistance, and if you go in with that mentality, you'll be less shocked when you hit a brick wall, you know, and you'll be more in solution mode. If you just get in solution mode, how do I solve this?
You can't have success in a single attempt. Like ask all these Olympians,
right.
These. You can't
ask
have
anybody who has it. They'll all tell you the same thing. It's not an overnight thing. It's, you know,
Same things for
And that's
golf.
fine. Most people weren't cut out for it anyways. Most people are cut out for, and that's cool. Like just working a normal job, and it's tough. It's tough, man. Because people have families, obligations, man. It takes a lot on you.
You know what? Sometimes I hear people are like, "I'm not okay with my job. I'm not okay with," and then you get into the gravy of it. You're like, okay, so you want to start a business? Then I did that. I was as a consultant, as a young consultant when I was younger and more available. I didn't have that much clients, so I was just like having all that free time with all my uni friends, and I was just talking to people who wanted to start their business. I had so much free time. I was just giving out free advice, and I was just like available. And bro, you have no idea how much time I spent with people telling me, I really want to start my business. And we get in the gravy of it, and okay, 1 attempt, 2 attempts, 3 attempts. I can't get it. It doesn't work. The market is not ready for my product. What are you talking about, bro? Like, what are you talking about? You called like 3 people. You called 5. You called 10.
Yeah.
Like, success comes from persistence. And you need data at some point to really tell me, hey, it doesn't work. You don't know yet if it doesn't work. If you called like 3 people. You need to be honest with yourself. As soon as I get into the gravy of it, most of the time I talk to people, I ask them questions. How many, like really in the numbers, how many boxes have you sold yet to tell me that you need to change your boxes? No, my box, they don't work. I need to change my product. You don't have a product problem. Maybe you have a branding problem. Maybe you have a selling problem. Numbers problems. How many people did you call last?
It's an excuse though. It's really an excuse. The people are too lazy to actually continue pushing forward. No, it's not good. There's no market fit. That's an excuse. Instead of saying, how can I make it work? They're saying it's not working because of external reasons. Not because of me, not because I didn't push hard enough, but because, there's not a market fit. I tried. I called 3 people. I give up.
You didn't try enough.
If that's your attitude, might as well go back to working a 9 to 5, because there's no way you'll amount to anything like that with that attitude. Solution mode. How can I solve it? How can I find the market fit? What can I change? What can I do differently?
And it applies to everything. It applies even to your personal stuff. Bro, how many times I've heard people telling me I can't go with my daughter this weekend because I have no time. What are you talking about, bro? You do have time. Make time. Schedule it. Your daughter needs it. You actually need it. You see people.
It's something.
You make barriers for stuff, and you're like, bro, this.
It's like I don't even have kids, and I know how important that is to make time.
It has to sometimes you have to make it important. From your business goals to your personal goals, like the key to dominating your life and your happiness, I would say, is relentless persistence, non-stop.
Yeah, but let me ask you, how did you, as an entrepreneur, Félix Favreau, how did you muster the? I guess that because it's a character, it's a personality, it's a way of life. How did you get to that point?
I talk a lot. I communicate. I ask questions. I try to. Sometimes it doesn't work, but it's one day at a time, right? It's one day at a time.
I mean,
people
my
are
question
trying
is,
to.
my question. I don't think I explained my question. Like, how did you get to a point where you're so robust in your character, that you're so strong-minded that you say, like, I'm not giving up, even though shit goes bad sometimes? Like, how did you get that? How did you get that?
I feel well. Maybe I feel like my answer. I was actually answering that question.
Oh, okay, my.
And maybe no, it's fine, it's fine. But because I feel like my answer maybe doesn't feel like a real answer, but it is. I feel like I maybe it sounds not so robust, but it's actually one day at a time, bro. Like, and it's how I make it robust. And that's how I make it work. Sometimes,
but you're a fighter. You're a fighter. You fight till the end, and you don't stop.
I fight for a day. I fight for a day, and then I go to sleep, and
it's a new
anything
day.
is not fixed every day when I go to bed. But I know that tomorrow is another day to
Tomorrow's
like
another day.
go to war and go back to fight. So
Yep.
so instead of trying to fix for the whole year, or fix for the whole month, or fix for the next 2 weeks, so I don't hear about, people sometimes I don't want to hear
Break
about
it down into small things, solve one
you
thing at a
will
time.
have to hear about it next week again. You will have to go again for it. But if you could just fix it for this day, fix it with your, if you some regular problems, like your battery broke down on your car and now it doesn't start, and you don't have the money. Like, some people will just stop there and be like, hey, I can't fix it, I don't have the money, so I'm staying home and hope for something to happen to me. Bro, like, I have employees, so I know, like, there's two types of, and I've seen two types of people who have the same category of problems. Car problems. You have these guys who are like, my car broke down and there's nothing I could do. And you have these other guys who are like, my car broke down, I called my mechanic already, he's gonna lend me the money until next Friday, and I'm just trying to figure out a way to get him the car right now. If you're boss, if you could just let me an hour and 2 hours, I will be late, but I will be there. Same problem, two different people, two different approach. And I get these all the time. Like, these two, I get like 50. I wouldn't say 50-50. I would say Pareto law, like 80-20. And you know who's 80 and you know who's 20. Persistence, like finding solution. Hey bro, could you fix me? I need to go get I need my paycheck, right? You need your money, you need your check. Persistence is the key to like keeping this thing going.
But do people know? Generally people, I feel like they understand what it takes. They understand that it takes persistence, but are they just lazy? Are people lazy, or are they just weak? Or like, I try to understand, because like
they lack purpose. They lack purpose, my friend. They lack purpose, written down purpose. Repousser les limites, c'est l'essence de l'innovation. This is my 2025 purpose. This is what we're trying to do this year.
I find it intriguing to understand people, like the psychology of people. Like, you know that you want to change your life. You want to change some things, but you're not quite willing to push through all this shit. I'd like to like sit down with with somebody and find like a psychologist and something, and just try to find out the reasons why. I'm so curious.
But bro, we read a lot of books, you and me, who were written by psychologists. You and me I've read books that were written by the GTD method was written by he's a doctor.
Oh, he's a psychologist.
Psychiatrist. I think he's a psychiatrist, this guy.
Let's find out.
We've read a bunch of things, you and me. We're actually very interested in that. You and me. We're reading a lot about that without knowing. And from what we find out in these other books that we're reading and these other podcasts.
He's a productivity consultant. He's not a psychiatrist. That's his title, productivity consultant. Is he a doctor? I don't know if he has a degree. Maybe. And here it says he's.
I think maybe I'm.
He's a productivity consultant.
I'm mixing him up with.
I'm sure we've read some books.
Maybe someone who he quoted, or someone, whatever, bro. I think I'm mixing him up.
Yeah, because Grant Cardone's certainly not a doctor.
No, he's not.
He's just a G entrepreneur.
But that's the whole point. Like, if psychiatrists had the key of because they know brain so much, they would also have the key, and they would all be billionaires and have all the money in the world because they would know so much, right?
Yeah, but they have purpose, though. Their purpose is something else, though. Their purpose is not to be an entrepreneur. Their purpose is to actually help people, you would think, right? And they put that above everything else.
A guy like Grant Cardone has some kind of vision. And he's just focused on it, and it works for him. So and he's not like you said, he's not a brain, he's not some kind.
He also knew exactly what he wanted to do, though. It's like the persistence, but also the know which buttons to push.
I just feel like it takes away the fear when you have that vision. You talk your vision. You try to manifest your vision. You're trying to even if like it takes away the fear, because if you're just out there telling people your ideas, and you're sitting there like, bro, I have this great idea, what do you think about it? And you're asking other people about their opinions all the time, and you're waiting for a sign, you're waiting for someone to tell you, to validate your points and to validate you. You know, when I was young,
Validate.
validate me. When I was young and I was trying to like find business ideas and pitch stuff. Younger, I mean like 16 years old, 17 years old. I remember trying to like validate everything from my dad and ask him, "Hey, what do you think about?" And my dad was, and
Oh
your
yeah, for
dad,
sure. But he was like your hero, though. Like for sure, you cared about everything your dad thought about you and thought about.
but he was also overprotecting me. You know,
Sure, but when you're
like all
younger, you
that.
don't know you don't know better. We think when we're kids, we think that our parents are like superior, like superheroes, and we care about what they say, right? For sure. And now when you get older, you realize that like they don't have all the answers. They don't know everything, our parents. We thought they did, but they don't know all the answers. Because then we get smarter and we start to realize like, no, they're wrong. I'm right. You know what I mean? But they want
What's
what's best for us
wrong
at the
and
end of the
what's
day.
right, like at the time, and like the time frame that you're. My dad was right in the sense that um, having your own business is a risky venture. It's you have to have you know
But everything's
lots of
risky. Even
guts.
not
You know,
even just staying in a job that you don't like is risky. But they didn't. They never taught
I
us that. Even
understand.
my parents, they never
No, but
taught
they
me that.
exactly, because it was different back in the days, like from
Yeah,
their
back in the day,
experience.
yeah, for
So you
sure.
understand, like everything that was right had
Yeah.
a time frame and like a
You know what's
time.
interesting? You know what's really interesting, Phil, is that back in our parents' days, it made sense to go to school. It made sense to go to school and get a job because people who did that and followed the rules actually lived a good life,
Yes,
was able to have a house, a nice family, a car in
everything
front,
they needed.
food,
Yes,
everything they needed, and have a good life, travel
yeah.
twice a year, and everything on one salary.
Mhm, mhm,
So
mhm.
it makes sense if you want to take that path. Now it's like, dude, I'm gonna do all that, and then it's still not. And I know that I'm still not gonna be able to do that. To have what they had, my grandparents, my parents,
C'est
how they
tellement
had the
vrai.
life.
C'est tellement vrai.
So that's discouraging. Why would I go to school knowing that?
C'est
Unless I want to
tellement
be a
vrai.
doctor or something else.
C'est
Like
pas assez. It's not enough. It's just
it's
not
it's
enough.
scary, bro. It's
Yeah.
scary. It's like I'm sure a lot more people would just stick to. I think that's why people are less and less people are maybe going down that path because it's like maybe
Man,
in, I don't know
it is that reason. It's definitely
if
that reason, bro. And even the people who are like going for these liberal professions, like engineering and like
like
lawyers, they
check up that
face.
in Dubai, Jean, in like in like a place like Dubai, like in Dubai, I think you still have that kind of lifestyle that where you can get a regular job and you get paid crazy money, tax free, and have an amazing life. I hear a lot of good things about Dubai. I don't know. I've never been. I've never like
Everything has
really.
its downside, though. Everything has its downside. You know, you're living
Yeah,
in the
for sure.
desert, so obviously there's downside in living in Dubai. Everything is not perfect. I'm not saying like what you're saying. I'm not to downgrade anything you're saying, because obviously I've heard the same thing about, but I feel like I want to stop comparing. I want to stop changing stuff. You know, like we're out here doing this podcast, like trying to change a little bit some stuff. You know, and talk about like new ways of doing things. This is the reason where I'm reading all this and doing all this work. Um, I'm trying to change something. And I'm not. I have no fear. I feel that we could change stuff.
Do you mean us as individuals, or you mean us as a society? Like, what do you mean by we could change stuff?
I think that you need to, especially in times of like contraction and times where people are um, anxious.
Like in 2008.
Anxious. Anxious
Let's go
about their
back to
money.
2008, with the crash of the real estate crash. Everybody was unable to pay their bills, so the big crash. But if you had money to buy, if you had money to expand, bro,
some people found crazy opportunities during the 2008 crash.
God, if you had cash during that time,
bro,
dude, I remember I was a kid. Well, I was a kid. How old was I? I was
18
born
years
in
old.
91. I was like 18 years old. Yeah, exactly. And I remember being with my dad in Florida. We were going around with the real estate agent. My dad bought a condo in the 2009, 2010, where the prices were still really low.
I remember that because
I remember. Yeah, but listen, I remember with the real estate agent,
I think.
we were looking at apartments, and my dad's like, "How much are these?" I remember I was 18 years old. My dad's like, "How much are these?" "Oh, they're about 60 grand each."
60 grand. I remember you told me. I remember that.
He's like, 60. Oh, they're about 60, 65. What? They were small. I remember it was like a studio, but a ridiculous view of like the intercoastal water. 60,000. Imagine you went there and you picked up like 3 or 4 of those, 5 of those, and then you had the cash.
Right now, you're flying. Obviously, you're flying, my guy. Flying, my guy.
That's why it's nice to have cash during a recession.
But if you don't have cash, this is the power of what we've.
If you don't have cash,
if you don't have cash, you could always expand, and that's what we've been doing with Uninet. We didn't have the big banks backing us and all that.
Yeah,
we had to expand based on what we had the most.
So with our energy.
Our energy.
It's like, let's get to fucking work. People are retreating. Let's fucking push.
Yes.
Let's push. Let them retreat. Let's push.
Bro, we have something, and it worked.
That reminds me of something. During COVID, when like all my friends were playing video games, and so was I. I was playing video games. Now I look back at it like, okay, why didn't I fucking like try to start an online business during COVID? There's tons of people that opened up like online business and made a shit ton of money. Could have opened up a stupid little what I was doing was stupid, but could have opened up like an Etsy store or like an online store, open up a Shopify store.
They actually don't cost much, and
they don't cost much.
They just require effort, attention.
They require effort and time, which we had. We were at home playing video games. Why? Biggest regret.
And these are skills right now that are very easy to like engage in because you have ChatGPT, you have all these AI products that help you just build stuff. You have Canvas, you have Stripple, you have all these little things. They're so easy to learn.
ChatGPT, fucking.
Oh, like you have no excuse. Nobody has excuse,
no excuse
now.
Anymore.
Kids, I've seen kids. The little brothers of my entrepreneur friends. They do stuff that are actually more impressing
than what we did. Yeah. And we're at Louis.
It's actually
fucking
scary.
Smoking like.
It's actually scary. These kids right now, they are the next Elon Musk, and you guys don't know anything about it. The next 10 years will tell you who's staying. I've seen a report, people are complaining about it, saying it's crazy, it's never going to happen. 810,000 jobs lost because of AI only in Canada.
Oh, for sure. A lot of people are
810.
It's the reality of it, bro. A lot of people are losing their jobs.
Hey,
that's
like a quarter of all jobs
for a lot of people. Yeah,
that's like a quarter of all jobs in Canada, bro. There's 4 million jobs right now in Canada. They're saying in the next 10 years, 800,000 of these jobs will be replaced by AI stuff and robots. And I'm starting to believe.
But look, if you think about like, remember when we started getting the cash, the automatic cash system at stores, like when you go there, swipe your own product and you pay at the machine, we thought that these would replace a lot of jobs. But when you go to Walmart, you still see a bunch of employees still working. Like, to what point is
but
AI
they
really
definitely replaced the highest paying jobs.
I still see a lot of employees when I go to Walmart or when I go to like Maxi, when I go to the grocery store. I still see a lot of employees.
But they're not the highest paying the highest paid job. The highest paid jobs at these stores were the cashiers, because the cashiers, they were handling money and they had a very critical job, right? Because the critical aspect of a business is definitely like your POS, your point of sale. If you eliminate that job, you have more money to hire some people in the back store to fill in your alleys, right? So that's why they did that. That's why you see more people. Actually, they have more people for service.
Yeah. Anyways, let's move on to the. I don't know if you had any more words, or we can move on to our sponsor. Our sponsor. Would you like me to do the honors here?
Of course. Let's go.
All right. Let's get our little music going over here.
Oh, you have a little music for the sponsors.
Yeah, of course. Oh, you already know what's up, my guy.
Okay.
Today's sponsor, one of our sponsors, is Entretien Uninet. Your business deserves maintenance without compromise. At Entretien Uninet, we handle everything so you can focus on what matters most. From commercial cleaning to specialized upkeep, we keep your spaces functional, clean, and ready for success. Let us take care of the details while you take care of your business. Go visit them at their website. They can give you a quote for your cleaning of your office. They do window cleaning. They do a whole bunch of cleaning and maintenance. Give them it's free. It's www.entretienuninet.ca.
Hey, I realized I was supposed to start, and you did before me. So let me just go ahead with my my sponsor. I'm sorry for this. So looking to scale your business or get through a tough financial challenge, at Stratégie Conseil, we specialize in helping entrepreneurs unlock their potential. Whether you need funding, solutions, or strategic advice, we're here to make your goals a reality. Visit us online to learn more. Hey, because your success is our mission. StratégieConseil.ca. Thank you, my brother.
Visit us now.
And also, bro, before we stop this, we have to talk about a Quinta restaurant. If you're in Montreal and craving authentic Portuguese flavors, a Quinta is the place to be. From savory grilled dishes to homemade desserts, we'll take you on a culinary trip across the Atlantic. Stop by at 1851 Ontario East. You'll be greeted with warm, great food and a family-friendly vibe.
And I could attest to that personally. I've been there 1,000 times. And speaking of a Quinta restaurant, I say we go for dinner this week if you're free.
This
weekend. Let me know if you have time.
This week is ending tomorrow, or in 2 days. So tomorrow we have Thursday. We'll see this weekend. Maybe this weekend.
Keep me posted on that.
100.
And,
So yeah, bro. Nice stuff. Nice podcast, bro. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and if you guys enjoyed our conversation, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like. Let us know if you let us show us some love by liking and subscribing.
And be there tomorrow on Tactics Thursdays.
Tomorrow's Tactics Thursdays. Yes.
All right, bro. See you tomorrow.
Wait, where's that music?
Put it back so I can have a dance. Missed it.
2, 1.
Oh, God. Ça va prendre un...